Agnes Meyer Driscoll, Madam X. 1889 to 1971, was inducted into the National Security Agency Hall of Fame in 2000. From the mid-1920s until 1941, Ms. Driscoll was instrumental in solving every Japanese naval operation and ship movement code. When she grew up in the U.S., had 38 states, she would have been 9 during the Spanish-American War, 14 when the Wright brothers first flew, and a teenager when electricity first came to homes. She would have been about 24 when the first Model Ts were made, and didn't get the right to vote until she turned 31. The family was reportedly severe, demanding obedience. In 1905, her father, Gustav, donated the home to the Anti-Saloon League, which had moved its headquarters to Westerville. Agnes enrolled in the U.S. Naval Reserve at 28, only 1 year after the Navy began accepting women, in clerical positions only. She repeatedly tried to transfer to a more challenging role and was finally moved to the Code and Signals section in 1919 and was promoted to Chief Yeoman, although still relegated to clerical work. The Red Book was the name for Code 1918 of the Imperial Japanese Navy Secret Operations, which was stolen and translated in the 1920s. Agnes Driscoll was responsible for the first key in 1926, and by 1930 there were 4 different keys in simultaneous use.
I had been warned not to patronize Madam X, as her colleagues sometimes referred to her, because she was sensitive to her role as a woman in a man's world. It was surprising to hear Miss Aggie curse, which she frequently did, as fluently as any sailor whom I've ever heard.
Honorably discharged at her request on February 5, 1920, he had already achieved the highest rank available to women in the Navy. He was hired back as a civilian 1 day after leaving active duty. In 1923, Agnes solved a puzzle published in a magazine that was advertised as impossible. The creator, Edward Herban, of the fledgling Herban Electric Code Company, was attempting to create a cipher machine. He also was instrumental in disclosing convicted spy John S. Farnsworth by ciphering the name of his accomplice, Radio Man Thompson, from Tomimora. Agnes Meyer Driscoll passed away in 1971 and is buried in Arlington National Cemetery.
Most of the content of this video came from the excellent work of Kevin Wade Johnson in his NSA document, The Neglected Giant, Agnes Meyer Driscoll. Driscoll lifted herself up from stenography to become the Navy's principal cryptologist for many years. The Navy, however, neglected to promote a civilian woman when its focus was on interchangeable rotational officers. The Navy and AFSA neglected to put her in a position to succeed with her immense strengths against hand systems. NSA has neglected to name a building, road, or auditorium after her, as of this writing. History has neglected to present her in the fullest light, and she herself neglected to leave historians the material to do so. But perhaps much of that neglect can now be banished. The only person assigned to Riverbank, MI8, AFSA, and NSA, along with private industry cryptography, has earned a unique place in history. She rose as high as her talents, organizational limitations, and her wishes suited her. She towers above nearly all her contemporaries. Let us not lose sight of her limitations, but still admire her for all that she did and all that she was. Agnes Driscoll is one of the true giants of cryptology, and one we can all look up to. Let us neglect her no more.